Hi guys, this is Chuck Clayton, and this is a sneak peek of my book, Mastering Critical Thinking. Mastering Critical Thinking, which is about learning how to think, not what to think. It's also about embracing a curious and open mind, using facts and data and empirical evidence for discovery and for decision making. And also, the importance of results versus rhetoric. Those are four things that go throughout the work of this book. Let's talk about the book layout. There's 4 sections and 15 chapters. And then there's appendices. First of all, section 1, which is foundational critical thinking skills. It includes 3 chapters, which are key elements of critical thinking landmines, and exploring our multiple intelligences. Second, mastering critical thinking, which is critical thinking tools, techniques, and methods, part 1 and part 2. Decision making with imperfect information. And then knowledge, decisions, and consequences, part 1 and part 2. Section 3 is critical thinking applications. Pivoting in life, which is chapter 9, is so important because so many of us have to change careers in our lives. Just the way the world's moving faster and faster, we have to have the skills to be able to do one thing one day and something else the next. And this chapter helps define some keys on how to do that, and some people who have been very successful in history and currently doing this. Next, we're going to go into results versus rhetoric, part 1 through part 4, which is conflicting visions. This is exciting because it integrates a lot of the tools, techniques, and methods that we've learned throughout the book, and also concepts. Section 4 goes into becoming a new breed of critical thinker. First of all, keys to increase your critical thinking skills. These are 8 keys that are incredibly powerful if you want to be a super critical thinker. And then next, we're going to go into moving forward. In the appendices, these didn't fit perfectly well in the book, so I went ahead and put in the appendices. Some people know some of these things, some people don't, but it seemed worthwhile to put it within the book. First of all, Appendix A, which is gathering facts, data, and empirical evidence. Second, how to do comparison studies, which we have to do all the time. Anything from going to dinner to buying a house or a car, finding a job, going to college, and so forth. And next, in Appendix C, how to do projects. And finally, in Appendix D, critical thinking skills, concepts, and topics that we talked about throughout the book. We're going to cover many, many fascinating topics, such as human-caused climate change, some of the titans of industry, the early ones or the current ones. Are they good, bad, or evil, or somewhere in between, or just human beings? We're also going to go into things like mind maps, decision making, and much, much more. Let me give you a few samples of critical thinking skills, concepts, and topics. Chapter 1, key elements of critical thinking. A curious and open mind, thinking through and thinking ahead. Analyze issues from multiple viewpoints. Frames of reference. Intuitive and non-intuitive thinking, understanding human nature, and resourcefulness. In chapter 2, we get into critical thinking landmines. So important that these can stop critical thinking in their tracks if they're not understood and handled properly. First of all, inferior work, the drone mentality, arrogance and intolerance, groupthink, manipulation, narcissism and hypocrisy, rise of a new Terminator, and this is about artificial intelligence, which kind of makes sense, right? And then dealing with disrespect, something we all unfortunately have to deal with at times. Chapter 3 is exploring our multiple intelligences. Logical, mathematical intelligence, linguistic intelligence, music intelligence, body kinesthetic intelligence, spatial intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, and finally, intrapersonal intelligence. Let's go a little further. In chapter 4, we're going to talk about critical thinking tools, techniques, and methods, part 1. My background as a mechanical design and development engineer, a systems engineer, a quality engineer, and also some business experience has exposed me to literally hundreds of tools. Some of these tools and techniques and methods are applicable to almost anybody. Basically, they're universal. So I cherry pick these to put these in, and these can help create powerful critical thinking skills. First of all, we have the Feynman technique. the scientific method, well known but not used well enough, experimentation, brainstorming, the Pareto principle, mind maps, visualization, getting what to reward, using history as a guide, root cause analysis, the 5 whys, the 5 W's and how, and chain of events. In chapter 5, we're going to dig even deeper into deep dives. Overview of deep dives, take it to the extremes or examine the opposites. First principles, which Elon Musk has talked a lot about and is very powerful. And then deep dives in engineering to show how the process works, and when you want to do your own deep dives, what the systematic process is. And there's so much more in chapters 6 through 15. Mastering Critical Thinking will be available in March of 2024. And as the great Thomas Sowell said, it doesn't matter how smart you are if you don't stop and think. Thanks for stopping by, and make sure to like and subscribe for more exciting videos on Mastering Critical Thinking.